Hello and welcome to the Dominion Daily for September 30th, 2025. We've got an Empire's Kingdom today, and we've got Sacrifice as the only trashing, plus actions from Villa and Crown, and Sacrifice can give plus actions if you trash an action card. Draw from Wild Hunt and Archive. And then plus buy Villa, Forum refunds your buys. Engineer can gain stuff. So the deck control components here are a little on the weak side in that you have Sacrifice. Oh, sorry, I missed Temple. Okay, there's an extra trasher. I bet. But in any case, Sacrifice and Temple are both on the weak side as trashers go. Villa is a very strong card, but being a stop card village, it does, or it can create some unreliability, and in particular in conjunction with Wild Hunt draw. I guess there is also Royal Blacksmith for draw. Those are both terminal. Royal Blacksmith does draw more cards, which, you know, the issue with Villa Wild Hunt is that it doesn't net increase your hand size by very much, just one. Although you can throw a Crown in on the Wild Hunt, and that can definitely help there. Archive can also help with that, of course. I tend to prefer like if I am gonna trash my starting cards, I tend to prefer to play with the Wild Hunt kind of draw over Archive. Or I guess it's not just if you trash your starting cards. It also, if you were like, I don't know, if there was like something like a Gold Gainer maybe, or something where I was gonna like throw a bunch of treasure into my deck here. I mean, I guess you could use Engineer for silvers as payload. That's the other thing about, like, the money payload here is also not the most impressive. But you do have Groundskeeper, and Wild Hunt, so you can get a lot of VP that way. So I think that doesn't really matter super much. Anyway, so probably want to open with one of Sacrifice or Temple, and then either Engineer or Silver. Engineer doesn't look that great to me early. Engineer gaining Villa, it can be quite nice, of course, but in the early going, we don't necessarily need a Villa until we get like a Wild Hunt or something. So probably we take a Silver. As for Sacrifice versus Temple, Temple does trash more cards. It doesn't give you anything for it. Sacrifice trashing Estate doesn't really either, but Sacrifice trashing Copper does give you some money to help hit a price point. So like, Temple Silver is not good at hitting 5. Sacrifice Silver is not great at it, but it is better. I guess Labyrinth is a bit of an argument for Engineer, but I don't think it's enough of one. I don't think that's important enough. I think I want sacrifice. Hmm. We do also have like forum for sifting. I'm just thinking about like, so temple, you know, if you get really lucky in 3 plays of temple, you get to trash 6 cards, and that is a big difference. And then if you did want to play with Royal Blacksmith, that accelerated copper trashing would potentially be helpful, although you'd still have plenty of copper left at that point. And probably not going to be prioritizing taking form early anyway. I don't know. It's a close call, but I think I'm going to go with sacrifice. So does the bot. So we have 6 here, which is more money than we need for sure. So we could just go with an early archive. That's going to do a little bit more draw early than Wild Hunt, just because of like setting cards aside and potentially making them miss the shuffle. Wild Hunt is the card that I want in the deck long term more, though. I think I'm just going to go with that. And we bottom deck the sacrifice. Okay. I think taking an engineer now could make sense. It can gain villas. It can trigger. It can get us labyrinth points. It's not like the biggest deal, but yeah, I mean, we don't need to keep it around forever, obviously. I think I'm gonna take one. Well, this might not have been the ideal. I mean, obviously, I knew the sacrifice was down here, but I didn't know I was going to top deck the Wild Hunt. So the odds that we draw into enough coins to buy a villa are, we need to either see 3 coppers or 2 coppers and a silver. We have 5 coppers and a silver, so 6 of the 9 cards are cards that would help us with that. They're not great odds. This draw is pretty bad. Been pretty bad. Like, I mean, maybe I just shouldn't have taken the engineer. They could certainly make that case. I could also sacrifice an estate and take Bath's points, I guess. I don't love how long that makes the shuffle. The main thing. So, like, if we... I mean, it's not... We're still triggering a shuffle after next turn, so it's not like that bad. Ugh. The worst case scenario is we draw like, I don't know, copper engineer. We hit 3. And then down there we have 3 coppers, a silver, and an estate. And the remaining 6 cards. And we bottom deck the silver and don't hit 5. That's like the absolute worst case scenario. It's not very likely. I mean, we could also like draw a silver double estate here, and then we'd still fail to hit 5 this turn, and then also probably would next turn. Hmm. I guess that's not terribly likely either. We get. I mean, we draw triple copper now, and then we have. And then we're definitely not hitting 5 next turn, but we do get to get the villa this turn. Yeah, I don't know. I. I think I'm probably just supposed to trash. We did, in fact, bottom deck the silver. Hooray. They just get... Oh, never mind. 1 villa. Okay. We could take a second trasher, second sacrifice. Probably prefer to the temple. And another silver. Alright. I'll take another wild hunt here. Here we go. We got 2 wild hunts now. We could take a crown. I think I like that. Well, not ideal, but Bot is really going hard for archives. Alright, I think one more wild hunt now. And yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and do sack copper by villa. Our engineer is down there. And so is our other sacrifice. It's a little awkward. Because I would like to... I'd like to play the sacrifice. Oh well. Wait. Oh no. Oh right, we crowned the sacrifice last turn. Okay. Never mind. Never mind. This is fine, actually. I mean, we drew the villa. That's not ideal, but this is fine. Okay. Let's get another crown. This is not ideal. Like, where are my crowns? Where are my wild hunts? And we only hit 4 here? Like, come on. Well, I guess we can take a villa to hit 5. That's probably actually a good idea. Take another wild hunt, I think. Why does the bot have so many... Oh, they took the wild hunt points. Okay. That seems a little premature, maybe. I don't think there's any risk. Did we... Oh, we did play our silver last turn. Oh, but we do have 2 silvers, right? I don't think there's any risk that we don't hit 4 here. We need to crown the villa. Kind of looks that way. I mean, we could go Villa, Crown, Wild Hunt, and then just presumably we either draw another Villa or buy one. Yes, that's probably fine. Draw multiple villas even. Okay, so I guess we can gain a silver off the engineer and draw it. We could also just empty the villas. I probably should do that. It's a pretty powerful effect to deny the bot access to. And now that's making me wonder if we should gain a state with the first Wild Hunt and then draw it with the other one and trash it. The bot also have 4 Wild Hunts? I didn't think they had gotten so many. Or do I have another one down there? Because if I don't have another one down there, I'd want to go cards. Points cards. Three. I think that's just a couple coppers, though. There's not that many coppers in the trash. I mean, it's not a big deal if we just like have an estate in the deck rather than a copper, and we sacrifice it next turn. So I guess we'll do it this way. Oh, there's another estate. Wow. Okay. All right. So do this. We do have enough to grab 2 more Wild Hunts if we want. I don't think we do. If anything, we should go like Crown Groundskeeper. We should also maybe consider replacing the engineer. I don't know if how much like silver we're gonna want to play with to like actually have some payload in the deck. And we do have 6 coins from villas. Six coins from villas plus 2 coins from silvers is enough to keep hitting 10. If we take next turn, we'd also have 1, 2, 3 coppers. So that's 13 or 15 if we sacrifice both the coppers. If we take an engineer now, that looks worse. I think it's better to have the 15 next turn and then buy an engineer on top of that. Because then the turn after that, we wouldn't be expecting to hit 15 anyway, like to get 3 5s. Yeah. I mean, if we popped the engineer immediately for 2 silvers, we'd still get there, but I'm just worried about, like, we have all these non-drawing villages, adding the extra stop card now and next turn before we trash the copper just seems greedy. Well, Do we want to sacrifice a villa? Probably we do. Sacrifice 2 villas? I would certainly prefer not to. I'm going to trash a copper. Oh, God damn it. Well, I guess we can take that engineer. The other thing the engineer can do is help us pile estates. They did take the last 2 wild hunts. Jeez, you really don't think you can... I don't think that made sense. Like... Okay, so... Unfortunately, we don't have the groundskeeper in hand, but... Probably doesn't matter too much. We have 4 wild hunts, right? Oh, we don't get to look back at that, but I think we had 4 and then we didn't get any more. So we need to play 3 of them to gain estates, to pile estates without having to use our buys on it, but we can also just use our buys on it. Yeah, so it really doesn't matter too much, I don't think. I guess we do... We play this wild hunt without crowning it. Now... How many... Groundskeeper is by itself is going to get us enough points in addition to the wild hunts for us to win, so we can just do that. Crown... Wild hunt to take points. Take points. Engineer. State. State. It's probably points maximizing to trash the estate. 5. 10. We have 11 coins right now. We can't get to 13 with 1 sacrifice. Maybe it was points maximizing not to take it 2 estates with the engineer somehow, like to play the sacrifice instead. I don't know. I doubt it. So, yeah, this is just one of those games where the bot just played incredibly recklessly. So I was going to say, even if we weren't like set up for a pile out, 4 villas and a crown and 6 wild hunts is just not like a... That does not seem to me like it's a viable distribution. Maybe if you had enough archives in play. The bot actually only had 1 archive in play, though. What did it do with that archive? Puts an estate in the hand. Where? Oh, we just don't get to see what it set aside? I'm very confused. This archive cannot have had 2 cards on it because it had 3 archives in play the previous turn and it put cards into on all 3 of them, which means it has to be this archive, right? But then Yeah, like we can see back here when this one gets played, puts a silver into hand, it doesn't say what the cards set aside are. That's annoying. And like, why would it not say that? Like it's not even like it's a secret. Like the bot knows what cards got set aside. What? I would call that a bug, personally. Okay, well. And even though the game is over, we still can't see what those cards are. I guess we could back it out from the bot's deck contents, maybe? Probably not, actually. Well, did it like draw a deck here? It probably did. It played 3 coppers. It seems likely that it's just 2 coppers. So on the one hand, that does mean that there's 2 coppers not in the way. On the other hand, it means it's not like they had a villa set aside or crown set aside where it's like, okay, you're pretty likely to kick off your turn. I don't know. I mean, yeah, the bot does stuff like that pretty often. And I'm not even talking about the reckless pile stuff. I'm talking about the like over terminaling stuff. I guess particularly on a board with a card like Sacrifice, although it only had the 1, but where it can have non-sustainable versions of its deck. And I guess I said sustainable. Sustainable isn't really. I just mean like the what's your chance to dud. The sustainability is not really the criteria. But yeah, I guess I also think the bot was like early to take the initial Wild Hunt points, and the second time it took them, I think in a vacuum that made sense, right? Like, but it's just when you combine that with also emptying the Wild Hunts, then and leaving like 5 estates, and like I can clearly gain 5 estates if I don't dud, and I did just dud, which on the one hand, like indicates that my deck is capable of dudding, but on the other hand, like given the composition of my deck, makes it a lot less likely that I dud again because I didn't see any Wild Hunts, and so you kind of have to figure like I'm gonna see some Wild Hunts. So yeah, definitely a faster a faster outcome than like you might expect against a human opponent. It's still like a fast kingdom because villas are gonna pile and estates are going to pile in some capacity. But yeah, and I guess Wild Hunt's piling is not, or being close to piling is not surprising either, because even if you don't want 6 of them, you probably want 4, and you might want 5. I mean, depending on the situation. So yeah, as far as the build goes, I mean, I guess the big difference is the bot went for the archives and I did not, and I got a second sacrifice and got thinner. I don't think the archives look terrible. I think I prefer what I did, but it just archive is pushing your deck more in the direction of reliability and less in the direction of upside. And I think on the one hand that like the deck is going to be unreliable, so it is nice to have that reliability, but on the other hand, like having the upside and the reach is pretty important. I mean, in the end, the bot had plenty of Wild Hunts for that, and it did even get a Groundskeeper. So I don't know, like it did it. I mean, just straight up hit 5 more than I did. I guess it did. I mean, I got 2 more crowns, but I had 8 5s to its 11. Wow. I wonder how much of that was just like the opening where I bottom decked my silver. as opposed to because of the archives or anything. Because we both open sacrifice silver. Turn 3, I get a 5, the bot gets a silver. Turn 4, I get to engineer, the bot gets 5. So we each gotten a 5 there. And like I said, maybe I shouldn't have gotten the engineer. Maybe I should have just taken another silver. Then, yeah, I get nothing here. Oh, wait. I didn't bottom deck my silver. I bottom decked my sacrifice. That's right. And here the bot just gets a villa, which is a strange choice. Yeah, I don't get that. It's an archive. Plays an archive, gets an archive. I get a wild hunt. Gets a wild hunt. Oh, it got on a wild hunt earlier than I realized. I thought it got the archives first. Get a crown. It gets a villa and another archive. I get a wild hunt. It seems like we're getting these 5s at about the same pace. It's a wild hunt and an engineer. Get a crown. Gets a whole bunch of villas and a wild hunt. I get a wild hunt. Here it gets a wild hunt and a crown. So this is like the first time anybody's hit double 5. And it is off of a couple of archives. And then I got crown groundskeeper. So I also got double 5. Wait, well, oh. I was like, why did the bot just get a groundskeeper here? Well, I guess it only had 7 money anyway, but also it had a dud. And then I had the dud and just got the engineer. And then here it got 2 wild hunts. Yeah, I'm actually really confused. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 versus 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm really confused about how the bot ended up with so many more 5s. It's just that last turn, I guess, like, where I dudded. But even before that, it had 1 more 5 than me. Huh. Even though it seemed like we were basically just each getting 1 5. It had the double 5 turn before I did, but I got 1 after that. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah. I mean, I guess the whole point I'm trying to get at is like maybe, you know, the fact that the bot hit 5 more than I did is indicative that the archives are doing some work there. And that even though I don't necessarily agree with this distribution of 5s, that get it like starting off with a couple of archives might be better. And I could see that being the case. I definitely wasn't like super confident that skipping archive was the play. But looking back through that, I can't really make sense of it anyway. So whatever. Well, in any event, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.